Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of Baggers Chat. My name is Mitch Panton, and as always, we are joined by Ethan Daffy, and today we are previewing Carlton v St Kilda, round 9 at the MCG. First time we played the Saints at the MCG for quite a while, if not probably ever. Like, I don't know the last time we played them at the G, and it shows how good of a club we are and how many members we have now where St Kilda have home games against us now. But of course, we didn't have the time to review last game. We were just speaking about it then. It probably was a good game to not do the review for. We literally, it was unlucky because it was such a short turnaround as well that we wanted to try and do it. And if we wanted to upload it like on the Tuesday night, then we would have then had to do the preview for this game. We just didn't have enough time. So it was probably the first time in probably a very long time, probably the history of Baggers Chat where we actually haven't all had the time to actually do the episode. But Daff, first things first, mate. How are you? Ahead of this pretty crucial game now. I say it probably every single week for different reasons, but now heading into this week after last week. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's I'd say it's a bit of it's a hard pill to swallow at the moment. I said it before. I don't think this team's got it, unfortunately. No. I hope we're proven wrong, but I think it's got to the stage now that they've done it for so many years. The same, our best stacks up, but the issue is we are so inconsistent. The gap between our best and worst is the worst in the competition, in my opinion. Because I think our best is a lot better than most teams, but our worst is just a polar opposite, Patto. It's just I could not believe our intent for the footy on the weekend. And that's credit to Adelaide. They obviously did a very, very good scout on us from the week before, and they've beaten us I think for a while now, since probably the first game of 2022 when we played them. We lost. I think we've lost 3 or 4 straight now, and yeah, it was like you said, it was a good review to miss, but it's frustrating, man. And I'm sure everyone is frustrated, and we head into the week with Jesus, St Kilda, who's been an absolute bogey team of ours for our entire life. Let's be real. When they're underdogs, they seem to get another gear, and when we're favourites, we seem to forget how to play. So MCG, I think if we lose this game, I think we're fucked. Simple as that. I think we are. I don't know. It's going to be pretty hard to come back from this because the competition's so close. If you're a little bit off, you can beat a team, and we find a way to be a little bit off too many times, and which is why we dropped round 1. Which is why we dropped the Dogs game in the last quarter. We're a bit off in the last quarter. You know what I mean? It's frustrating, Patto, and they don't fill me with confidence. And last week, I thought that was it. I thought that was the break of the cycle type game. And, I'm fine with losing to Adelaide, right? But it was just the way we lose is just bad. It's just really bad.
Oh, couldn't have summed it up better than Daffy Boy, as you always do. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Where you're just so confused as to where we are as a club. And a mate of mine actually gave me a bit of not a reality check, but kind of gave me a realization of the win against Geelong isn't as good as I thought in a way. I think the pressure was really great, but it gives me the realization of if our pressure in our contest is not there, in not even 80, I'm talking about if it's not 100% there, we are fucked. Because if we have it even 80%, it's enough for teams to kind of find kind of turn it around in the game to then put it back into their favor, because we're just so one-sided. Our one wood is contest and pressure.
Yeah.
But we don't have any other assets in our game plan that we can actually execute on the game, on the day of the game, to actually find a way to get themselves back into the contest, but also find a way to get the actual job done. And it's just I feel like as soon as on the weekend, it was actually quite like
Mm,
confronting to see it on the
I know.
TV
Yep.
when it was like halfway through that first quarter and we actually realized that we were fucked because they already knew
Yeah.
that our
100%.
one game play, like heading into a game, how many different game styles are you heading into the game with? Of course, you've got your one
Yeah.
consistent game style, which is obviously the contest and pressure, but you've got to have other assets in your game plan
Mm,
for whatever opposition you're playing.
yep.
Like every other team is different. And you're heading into this week and it's the exact same stuff. But of course, against North Melbourne and West Coast and Geelong, it was really good. And
Yeah.
Geelong was the best
Yeah.
pressure I've seen, and
Yep.
intent for the footy was
Mm,
fantastic. But as soon as that, probably like first half of the first, like halfway through the first quarter, when
mm.
we realized, oh, wow, this actually isn't enough to get the job done.
Yeah.
Adelaide's just skill for the footy
Yeah.
just went, it was actually
It's
quite,
terrible.
it was like watching that
Mm,
was like scary. But
mm.
just before we do touch on the injury list, Daffy Boy, I thought that we very quickly would just go through I guess the game of last week, like for probably like another minute, because I don't think we really need to touch on it
Yeah.
for much longer. But of course, the final scores were the Carlton Footy Club 7 goals, 850 to the Crows, 16 goals, 14, 110, and it was a 60-point loss in the end. So
Uh,
I guess your final thought. I know it's a very, very quick recap because we are a few days later, but if there is anything going through your head right now, heading into this week that we can use to get the
mm.
job done against the Saints this week, your like last word against this game last week, like what was the last thing walking out of that game? I mean, like walking
Yeah. Yeah.
out seeing that game. What
Yeah.
was the last thought really going through your head?
I think it's not allowing them to have uncontested marks. Like you can have uncontested marks, but I'm looking at their side, St Kilda right now, and they've got some good ball users in the back half.
Yeah.
Sinclair and Wanganeen Miller are like if they're having 30 and 28 of those are uncontested, we're in trouble. So it's just the ability to, when we do turn over the ball, which you will in our forward half, being able to stop the spread and yeah, it's just the game of the week. It was alarming, like you said, and you know what frustrates me the most when you've got a 3v1, so we've got an advantage, and they always got out
Mm,
because we'd never be there. It looked like a 3v1, right? But we'd always be all of them would be a step behind. We wouldn't be close enough to the opponent. And one of them's when the ball goes out and it's a 3v1 from their contest pattern. There's always someone loose up forward. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think we've got to move on, but it's recurring. And I would not be surprised if we do the same thing this weekend.
oh,
I hope not, but it's just ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And they just came off a good win, St Kilda. And it was a very odd game of football. Very odd game of football. It was probably one of the worst games I've ever
yeah.
seen. But they had a game plan. They stuck with it. They won the game of footy. So that our ability now as the coaching group and also the players to do it on game day is to not let them play that game. Don't
Mm,
let them play that boring style, 18 guys behind the ball and not scoring. Because they won by 60, they scored 94. That should be the ability. How can our ball movement score more than that this weekend and beat them? Because I don't know if they can kick a winning score if we're up and about going forward to the ball. But
mm,
the issue is, Patto, we've got to be up and going ahead of the ball because we scored 50 on the weekend. 50.
50. And also,
Mm.
we were actually speaking the week before about how good our defense have been.
Yeah.
110 points conceded. And
Yeah.
and
That's the mids.
yeah, exactly. So like that's what we were speaking about. So obviously the back line have always been solid, but
Mm.
that's the first time that the mids have actually been outright beaten
Yeah.
from guys like Isaac Rankin.
Yeah.
Like, and we spoke about Ben Keys in the forward line. Oh my good golly. But
Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, the complete
Fortunately.
opposite to that. Fortunately, we can now actually move past that game. God, that was probably the worst way to put it. Like
Yep.
literally the complete opposite word. But yeah, I mean, fortunately, we have a game this week against the Saints.
Yep.
push that aside and just kind of reset if there is a way to reset because we've already had to reset a few times this season,
Uh,
Daffy boy. But you touched on that as well about the Saints and the amount of like controversy that has gone towards that game and the way that Saints have won it. I'm like, if I was a Saints supporter, I'm like, I don't fucking care. We won the
yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah,
We won the game.
yeah.
So like
Uh,
Ross wouldn't care. They still
no,
get the 4 points. It's not like they get half a point for a win
no,
like
no.
that. They literally
Yeah.
get the 4 points. So if I was a Saints supporter, I'd be like, I don't fucking care.
Mm.
And like if they do it every week and win the premiership,
Yeah.
like seriously, like it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. So yeah, we would just touch on the injury list very quickly, Daft Boy, and yeah, there's not really much to touch on from last weekend. Kind of the only change realistically heading into this week hopefully and probably will be Jack Silvani returning from a hand injury. A few other names to kind of touch on as well is Alex Chincotta and Orazio Fantasia. They're both 1 to 2 weeks away from last week,
Yeah.
so they could be a test this week, but I don't think they come into the side this week. Maybe the one player out of those two, probably Chincotta, would get in front of Orazio
Yeah.
Fantasia at the moment, but I think they both probably need to find their way back into
Mm.
the VFL, especially since Chincotta is coming off a pretty serious hip injury. So I think that would be the best for those two to kind of find their way in the VFL to get themselves back in the senior side, Duff. But then one name that we will touch on before we speak about the ins and outs, Duff, is Jack Silvani. So
Yeah.
do you see him returning this week?
Yeah, I think so. I think he won't. Hopefully he's 100%, but I think he'll have to find a way to get up
Yeah.
this week. Not not desperate, but I think he needs to play this week, and he's proven in the side that he's that second tall defender.
Mm, yeah. I recommend we actually touch on the ins and outs straight away, Duff Boy. And
Yeah.
it's it's very. I don't know if we swing the axe extra like a lot. I know that I've got two
Yeah, same.
changes.
Yep.
Yeah, but like I've got like two like ins and outs that like I could go with. There's like
Mm.
two that's two changes, but then I've got five.
Yep.
I
Yep.
don't reckon I want to make five changes heading into a game that
Uh-huh.
we offer three game win streak, and we could swing the axe, but I don't think we need to. But
Yeah.
if we head into this week and lose, and of course we are playing against St Kilda, like it actually, it probably
Uh,
wouldn't be like literally any other team. Probably Collingwood probably would be the other team that I'd be a bit like
yep.
fuck.
Yep.
But of course it's St Kilda, as you said. Yeah, the bogey team. So let's head into the ins and outs now, Daffy Boy, and your ins and outs, including the sub. Who have you got?
I'm finding it hard to do the selection. I've just got another name that's popped into my mind for to be dropped in this side. So I'm trying to figure out my way around it. I will say that name as a not a maybe, but I had this set in stone with two, but now I'm thinking
I
it
reckon
needs
we've
to
got the
be
same one.
three.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be three. So I'll go with my outs, the two outs that I went first. And I know this is kind of cheating saying a maybe name, but but it's just popped in my head. He's just completely not been in my mind. And now he's in my mind going, he cannot play. I don't think he can play a game again, unless he has to. Outs, Lewis Young, you know, if Silvani plays. If he doesn't play, Lewis Young stays. That's been the story for the season. Maybe he doesn't stay. I don't know. But Young is out for me. We've tried. I've tried to keep him in this side the whole season, and he has. He has. He had centre bounce attendances, which I don't know why. That probably shows our depth in the midfield is not good enough, or Michael Voss is batshit crazy. Jesse Motlop is dropped. 5 touches.
It's so bad.
He has been. We've both tried to hold out, haven't we? Really.
So bad.
And let's be real, he wasn't great against St Kilda, against Geelong.
He has been great all season.
No, his best game was North, maybe.
North.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to put a. I'm not putting a line through him. I don't like putting a line through players, but gee whiz, Patto, we've been keeping him in the team. We both have in the selection. We're just,
Mm,
we keep, it's like, come on, come on. No, sorry, he's out for me. He just needs to play some twos for probably a month, in my opinion. Just, I don't know if he can even dominate games in the twos at the moment, the way he's playing. He doesn't look quick. He looks slow. Like, I don't know. And his partner in crime wasn't great on the weekend in Corey Durden. I know he kicked two. He had 5 touches.
yeah, I know.
And his pressure was horrendous. And the question asked, Patto, I know we only had 6 touches last week as well. I know he was better. But when it comes to playing against the better teams, these two seem to go missing. They go missing. My final out, who I didn't have, I've only got 2 ins and I've got 3 outs. Um, I've got Sam Doherty. And it just didn't cross my mind just before. I don't know why it didn't. I've been thinking about it since the game that he should. It's almost got to a point. Like I know he's not going to pull the pin. He will. I'm not calling for retirement, but I think he's done. Pato. I think he's done. I just think he's mentally. We've spoken about it. He's been through a lot of stuff. And he's a champion of our football club, absolute champion, right? But I don't think his head's in the game at the moment. How many moments? I don't know if you saw it. He'd always, when you roll your hand over and you come up to the guy ahead of you, so you come off your opponent to go on the bloke, the bloke who's about to get the ball. He was always half a step off every single time. I don't mind when you come off your opponent and then you hit that tackle. He was always like he'd go for it, but he'd always be half a second late. And then what happens, Pato? That guy handballs over the top to his opponent. He kicks a goal. He can't play. He has to be dropped in this side. Yeah, and I understood the addition this week with Cottrell out, but jeepers, Pato. Jeepers. Ins
Mm,
for me, Silvani, Cottrell, if he's fit. We missed him on the weekend.
yes, we
Run and
did.
spread. We did. We just
God.
did. We did. And I'm not saying that's blaming for the game, but you miss those guys. The Silvani
Yes.
and Cottrell you both missed for two different reasons. And I am elevating now Lockie Cowan into the team
Wow.
for Doc. Um, and I don't know whether my sub actually, yeah. I think it's Stiff. I think he's been good since coming in and debuting, but I thought he was caught out a few times on the weekend. As Matt Carroll will be the sub for me. I think he doesn't deserve to be dropped, and I
Mm.
think his ball use is good. But he had 6 touches on the weekend, and I'm not saying he was a liability on the weekend, but 1-on-1, it was a bit stiff. He was on, sometimes he was on Rankin, sometimes he's on Rochelle, who are really, really good small forwards. And if we really want intent and pressure and contest, we know what Lockie Cowan can do. And I'm not saying his form warrants it beforehand, but I think we just need a little bit of CUNT this weekend, Pato. We know what St Kilda bring when they win games. They bring that hunt and that fight and a bit of biff. And that's what Cowan can do. So he's in the side for me. He wasn't in the side before I didn't drop Doc, but I have dropped Doc. So Cowan's in for me.
Yeah, no, I actually like it a lot. And now, like looking at the ins and outs, so I would just straight away say
Yep.
that I'm dropping Cowan.
Yep. Yep.
And I know it's stiff because he only played
Yeah. Yep.
a certain amount of time in there in the game, but it's more that I just think a guy like Matt Carroll, I really would like to get games.
Yeah. Yeah. I get
And
that.
I think, do you think there could be a world where you can bring in Sauce and still play Carroll and Cowan in the same backline? Probably not.
Probably not, but um, yeah, I reckon it also depends if, I don't know, they could find a way maybe push
Hmm.
someone higher up the ground. I don't know, but yeah, no, I understand with the Carroll point of view. For me, it's like it's not a desperate thing, but it's not a safe decision. But I just thought a little bit on the weekend was just I don't know, and it could be stiff, and I'm fine with him playing.
Mm. I even think Carroll could even push up to a wing and play like
Yes.
a wing position.
Yep.
And maybe that might leave an option open for Cowan. So that's probably the only change that I would make is maybe pushing Carroll up to a wing, and then that means that you put Cowan into that. Because I don't mind Cowan. I think Cowan.
Yeah, yeah.
I like him playing. So that's a bit of a unsure one there. But my other outs is obviously Lewis Young and Jesse Motlop. Seriously, like it is actually like it's at a point now with Jesse Motlop where we've said it the whole year. Like, oh yeah, but he'll be right. He'll be right.
Yeah.
He'll be right. The pressure is the pressure of being the number one small forward has made him a worse footballer. He is making him. It is making him so much worse as a footballer because there's so much pressure. And I don't know if that's him putting himself under pressure, or if that's the club putting pressure on him, saying you are the number one small forward. You need to lift whatnot. And I probably wouldn't be surprised if he wouldn't be dropped this week because he is the number one small forward. So I think you almost have to play him. But I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
Durden, Will White.
Yeah.
Those two guys have come in and saying, I want to play in the senior side. I'm going to do everything I can. Durden, yes, was pretty poor last week, but everyone was. And still ends up and kicks up 2 goals. Like he still ends the game with kicking 2 goals. And the only good game that Jesse Motlop really played was against North Melbourne. He kicked 3 goals in the last quarter when North Melbourne didn't even fucking try.
Yeah.
So even that game, I don't know if I told you or if I told my other mate, but I was even telling you, whoever it was, I was saying, it's lucky that he had a good last quarter. Because everyone was scoring. We scored 150 points, mate.
Yeah.
Of course, you would bloody hope that Jesse Motlop would get on the scoreboard. So he kicked 3 last quarter goals in that North game. And that was probably the only shining light for the whole season. And it's just simply not good enough. We're heading into round 9. It's not good enough. So I'm at a point now where he needs to be dropped. There needs to be a statement there. And I've got to be honest, I really don't want to drop Lewis Young. I really don't.
I know.
I feel like Sauce coming in, and obviously Cottrell, I've got the exact same. So the exact same ins and outs. But my sub, it's a bit, I'm looking at it and I don't like it at all. But I'm going to go Sam Doherty as my sub. I think he could be a good, I guess, role filler to an extent. I don't think he was extremely bad on the weekend. I don't think that was the worst game I've seen. I think the confidence with the VFL made him. This is like me trying to find a little bit of light in the game, but I thought he was. That's probably the best game he's played this year. And I know that there's not a lot of games really go off, but I just think he just looked a little bit better. And I don't know if that's confidence in the seniors or VFL. I don't know, but I really don't know what to do there. And it's just. I would rather, I don't know if we make these changes and just make 2 or 3 changes, or we swing the axe and make 6 and say, but I just don't think we need to do that because we're still in a position to make make this season worth it. But I don't know. I'm at a point in time where I actually don't know anymore. which is a pretty scary side, that boys. So, is there anything you want to touch on about those ins and outs, mate?
Yeah, well, the worst thing is, I don't even think we can afford to swing the axe because, like, our 2s can't even fucking win a game.
Yeah, bad.
Like, come on. Like, there was a few good performers on the weekend. Pitternet being one of them. He's one of those guys who could come in. So, well, we spoke about it 3 weeks ago. If you're going to bring him in, we're going to win the clearances.
Yeah.
And what happened on the weekend, Patto? We got fucking slaughtered. So that could be another potential in for me. Like, I'm not saying he's in, but if you want to shake it up a little bit, you want to change something up, you want to win it out of the guts, if you want to be that contested game and that stoppage team, he's almost got to play, doesn't he? I love Tom in the middle, and I'd rather him in the middle, but if you're going with that game style,
very good point.
You may as well fully commit. So that's another one to think about.
Yeah, no, it's actually a very good point. I never really thought of it like that with the contest because we don't actually realize how important it is. But it just annoys me how there's not other assets in our game that we can rely on. There's not a single other asset in our game, and it annoys the living fuck out of me. how heading into heading into the game last week, what is the game plan heading in?
Yeah.
Not like you can't just stick to the plan A.
No.
You have to have plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E. Like you can't just head in with a plan A.
Yeah.
If every team had plan A, like imagine that.
Yeah, yeah.
Imagine a Geelong, imagine Chris Scott heading in.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
lost Reece Stanley
Yeah.
at the start of the first quarter. Put Blitzarves in the ruck with
Yep.
Neil as the second ruck, and that's what you do.
No.
Like shit happens in the game.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's frustrating because I actually think we sometimes do have another avenue to score, and it's our ball use off back 50. And I sometimes think when we're so slow in our ball movement, it actually hurts that part of the game, because I think we actually can do that. I think McGovern can do that. Sard can do that. We did it against Geelong. That rebound game.
Yes.
I think we have it. But I think it's a mix-up. I think it's a 50-50 split. I think it's, like you said, game plan. And the second one is, how long are we going to wait for these group of players to be consistent? Really? Like, really? Really? We've said it at the start of the season. I think both of our goals were to be a consistent home and away team. And we're doing the same thing. It's been the same thing for 3 years. It doesn't matter if we make finals or not. It's exactly the same thing. It's a roller coaster. And it often, what happens to the roller coaster, Patto? It often fucking crashes and burns down by round 24. You know what I mean? Like, it's laughable. It's like we're rocking up to the footy every week, not knowing what's going to happen. We're rocking up playing fucking St Kilda at the G with no confidence. No confidence. Like, even if we lost against Adelaide on the weekend and lost by a point, right? That is a totally different ball game.
Yeah.
And I know people say no honourable losses, blah, 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 blah.
That is, though.
That is. And Collingwood's lost to Geelong. Honourable loss.
Exactly right.
You don't want to lose. I'm not saying you want to lose. Of course you want to win. But the way we play on the weekend is the furthest from an honourable loss. And that's where sometimes I think the fans' expectation as well.
100%.
Like, I know we want to keep them high. And we both keep them high because we know that if you lower them, that's when you're fucked. That's when you're reaching St Kilda territory every single season. But their expectations are here, Patto. They beat Freo or they beat someone else. They're celebrating like it's a grand final. That's fine because their expectations are low. And I think it gets to a point, Patto, that maybe we do need to lower them a bit. I don't want to. And I don't know if we do lower them, we're no chance of impacting finals. But, if it gets to round 12, 13, we're doing the same thing, then, we can't expect them to be a top 4 team and rock up to games going, I'm expecting a top 4 performance. It's reality. It's like I said at the start, it's a tough pill to swallow, but I just don't know if we're good enough.
Yeah. It's actually even more like frustrating as well because you kind of like there's probably like 2 or 3 teams that are like a very good chance to make top 4.
Yeah.
But then there's probably 3 off, probably 4th to about 10th. You just don't know who's going to make the 8. And I'm like, it was the exact same thing last year. There is an opportunity to just.
There still is.
Yeah, 100% there still is. But
it's frustrating.
We're round 9 and we're losing. That's exactly what I mean about honourable losses. They are crucial.
Yes.
Collingwood on the weekend literally had the chance to win the game off their boot. It could have been literally the last kick of the game. Could have gone either way.
Yeah.
And literally the game of the weekend against Adelaide, we get fucked. And we're off.
It's the confidence. We just lose confidence. And it's leading on to the next game. Your point is perfect.
Yeah.
You break that confidence is the Geelong game gone.
Yeah.
Of one performance.
Exactly. So I saw a video. I don't know. I think it was a radio station, but it was a girl speaking. You may have seen it about how Carlton. Did you see it?
Yeah, I think it was. Was it AFL.com? Was it?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
McCarthy, I think maybe.
Yeah, I haven't seen them before. But what was kind of said was like it was So she was saying Carlton, when there's no pressure,
Yep, that was her.
we play well, right? So
Yeah.
like when there's kind of no expectation, no pressure, we just go balls to the walls
I
because
know.
there's no expectation or pressure. But
Uh,
as soon as there is that little bit of nourishment and pressure, a little bit like, okay, well, are we
mm,
a good side? Or Carlton beat Geelong, we're a good side. Like Joey Montana was saying, lock them
yep.
in for top 8. Bit of pressure, bit of pressure. Okay, can you go out and beat Adelaide? You
Yeah.
had you and I were saying, yep, I am well and truly on the train. I
Yeah.
trust these guys now. I am going to tip you guys.
Mm,
Go out there and deliver that.
yeah.
So, and we might lose to the Saints next week, win
Yep.
against Sydney the week after because
Yep.
there's no pressure. I
Yes.
just don't understand why.
Mm,
And you said it about this like core group of
I
players that have
know.
been together for 10 plus years
I know.
and they still can't learn to play together as a group. And I'm talking about Wiedering, Mackay, Kerno, Cripps. These guys have been here for 10 years. They got
Yeah.
drafted in 2015. Cripps was the year before. No, the year before that,
Yeah.
2013.
Yeah.
So, oh, I would just want to get straight back onto this opposition watch because we want to
Yeah.
try and get through the episode quick, Daffy Boy. But it's just I'm at a point in time where I don't
Yeah.
know how to feel. I really don't. But we're going to move on to the opposition watch, and for the people who don't know what this is, we go through the back line, midfield, and forward line for the St Kilda Football Club, and touch on each player that might be a bit of a threat come this Friday night at the G, Daffy Boys. So let's start off with the backline. As you've said, there's a few players that are quite worrying in that backline because they have a lot of good ball users. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I'm going to go straight to the top of the tree. Well, I think he's the top of the tree defensively for them, and it's Callum Wilkie.
Yeah, love it.
We've got to find a way for him to be, switch on. It was funny enough on. I try not to plug my own radio station, but Nick Newman's been commentating on our station. He commentated. He was a special comments on the Saints game. We interviewed Wilkie after the game, and he had a funny question for him, saying, he was having a bit of a joke, saying, "Oh, who are you going to take next week, Charlie or Harry?" Trying to get a little bit of inside information. Wilkie said he will not be going to Harry. Harry's too big for him, he said. So he'll be on Charlie for sure. So for me, Harry, you're going to be getting Dougal Howard, and I know I'm focusing on Callum Wilkie, but we got to try and switch. Try and force some switches. You know what I mean? If Charlie lays a block on Dougal Howard, sometimes Dougal Howard might be forced to stay on Charlie Curnow for that instance in the game. It's those types of things. I think we can stretch him out. But yeah, Wilkie's he's solid as a rock. He doesn't make many mistakes. He's just there, isn't he? He's an interesting one. Like he's so good, but he's just so like no one really talks about him like in a high regard, which I think he should. So yeah, for me it's him. He just takes a lot of marks.
Yeah, I think now he's getting that more
Mm.
that recognition the past few years. But also about Howard, he got injured on the weekend.
Yeah.
So I think it was a hamstring injury. So that is going to be a very interesting
Mm.
talk this week because if he is out,
Ah.
you probably have to send a Caminiti back.
Yeah, they have
And
to.
I'm sorry if it is Harry Mackay versus Caminiti, Daffy boy. Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying though. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah. Watch out, St Kilda Football Club when we're coming off a fucking 50-point loss to the Crows, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
If we win it out the gut, like you're saying with Caminiti, all we've got to do is win it out of the guts.
yes, literally.
And to give, like, people might go, "Oh, Harry was quiet on the weekend." And let's be real. We could barely get the ball, let alone hit him. So I'm not accepting his performance, but it's reality. Like, if you don't give big forwards an opportunity, they're not going to do much. I know he's higher up the ground, but even then, we wouldn't even give you an
Mm,
opportunity to do that. Really,
mm,
and that's on him as well to get the fucking ball. But
mm,
to stretch him out, you got to win out of the guts. We've got to try and pepper it inside 50, put some pressure on like we did against the Cats. Because if you keep knocking on the door will fucking burst, especially against this team.
mm. Yep, spot on. My backline opposition watch, I'm probably going to go. It's a bit of a like pretty much a absolute lock here, but it's Nazaya Wanganeen-Miura. My good
Yeah.
golly, like he's seriously the way that he plays is it's just silky.
Yeah.
It's literally exactly like Sean
Mm.
Burgoyne. The way that he
Yeah.
plays, it's so exciting to see the way that he plays. And I'm no disrespect to St Kilda, but there's not a lot of exciting
Mm.
plays in their side, and I think he's probably the one player that I think they really need to invest a lot of
Yep.
time and many years and money in the next few years to
Yeah.
sign
Well.
him off, and sign him away because I think you need to keep a guy like that. But yeah, I'll probably go Wayne Miura. I just think the way that he plays is really, really entertaining, and we definitely need to put a watch on him. And if not, maybe even Jack Sinclair, because he's been down the past few
Yeah.
weeks. And he
Yeah.
usually does dominate against us. So we need to make sure that we keep an eye on that. But Daffy Boy, let's now move on to the midfield opposition watch for the Saints. Who have you got?
Yeah, it's they've got a lot of, like you said, they don't have silky guys, but they have some guys who just get the job done, don't they? They just get the job done. For me, this guy is actually he's a watch. I'm not saying he's any good, but he's a former Carlton player. He's a barometer. He seems to be. He's always starting fights. He's one of those annoying kind of players. And for me, it's Liam Stocker, but this is a very different opposition watch. This is not in terms of his impact, like impact with ball, whatever. If he, last week, Freo let him get away with murder, right? He was getting into every single one of their players, letting him just on the ground, get into them, lay big tackles, get into them more. If I see him get away with that this weekend, we are doomed. Like, like he's just one of those guys. Like we know he wasn't good enough for us. So and I know the whole his exit at the club was a little bit. I don't think the players necessarily love him. And I've heard some stuff about that, but don't let him be that guy. If he's getting into a young player like Matt Carroll, like on the weekend, Sardi with Tex Walker was getting
Walker,
into
yeah, good
Carroll.
point.
That stuff. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. If Stocker's trying to get in the Crips, get in there. Get in there and deck him. I don't give a fuck if you give away a free kick. You look at Taranto on the weekend. I know
Yep.
they lost the game.
Yep, great
But
point.
and Adam Uze said, I'm fine with him flying the flag.
Great point.
That sort of shit. Going, no, Stocker. You're no good, mate. We're not going to let you impact physically in this game, and then not going to let us, impact us mentally. So he's the one to watch out for. I think he might tag Cripps, I think, just because of the size.
He's tagging Cripper.
Yeah. Well, he tagged him in that round 24 game last
Yeah,
year.
he did.
And I know Cripps was, he was at the end of the year. He was very underdone at the end of the year. Synchronise.
Synchronise. Well, it's a shame that we are the Carlton Football Club isn't as synchronised as fucking us, mate. Bloody hell. But yeah, no, I actually love what you said about Stocker, and I completely agree about on the weekend about Taranto, how he kind of like was flying the flag on his own, and like that's a leader of the club, and there's been a like look, I know every single Richmond supporter in mine and say I fucking love that,
Yeah.
but the wider external point of view of being like, no, you just gave away a free kick, you're a leader. But I'm like, if one of my, I mean, of course you give away a free kick every week.
Of course you don't want to give away the 50.
Exactly. But if you're doing that, once a game to kind of like set the standard on the other, like on the captain of the opposition side, who's getting into fucking Rioli.
Yeah. It should have been a reversal anyway.
Exactly right.
Yeah. You don't. That's what I mean. Just don't let them. In the past, we've let players like, Stockers, those types of barometer type players, just infiltrate our mindset during a game. You know what I mean. You just let them push them around, and no. I don't care who it is. Go fucking deck him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go and deck him. Fairly and square, not into his head. But well, I'm not going to say it, but if there's a contest there to be won, it's a 50-50. Fucking hit him.
Exactly right.
In a legal way. I'm not saying elbow in the head, but closest possible to that.
Yep. Mate, if I was out there,
run through his chest. That's what we want to see. That's Carlton football. at our best. Not letting those guys, like that tackle Cripps did on Holmes last week, exactly the same.
Yeah. It's just so bad because, like, I'll think about it, I'm like, Carlton footy, what is that nowadays?
Mm.
What is Carlton footy?
Inconsistency.
You just, yeah, fuck me. Game plan, inconsistent. But that is the one thing that we fucking head into the game. But yeah, so my midfield opposition watch, I'm going to go with Jack McRae.
Yep. Yep.
I think he's been very good
Mm.
this year for the Saints. But I just thought I would say one thing. Hugo Garcia,
Yes.
he's
Yeah.
actually good.
Yep.
So, and I think he's kind of that point of difference.
He's a bit of a tagger too. I watched him on the weekend, and he's
Jordan
always
Clark.
yeah,
I think it's Jordan Clark.
he's always defensive minded. Like you
Yes.
watch a stoppage of Saints games, he's straight to whoever he's
Love
like.
it.
That's his focus.
Yeah.
And of course he gets the ball himself, like I'm sure you touch on. But yeah, he's definitely one to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I love the way that he goes about it, and it's good that he kind of responded after the so-called spray. I don't think it was really much to really talk about. I know that he was kind of like, I mean, it's a young player, and he responds, so that's exactly what you do. But I'll go with Jack McRae. I think he's been very good at the Saints this year, we have to keep an eye on him. Do you reckon that could be a George Hewitt matchup?
Yeah, well, I think they're the kind of two contested beasts. I don't think you need to tag him, but if he does get a lot of clearances. So if he's getting out of hand a little bit, maybe we need to put some work and time into him. But yeah, I don't think there'll be a tag as such. I don't think there'll really be a tag on any of their midfielders. But like you said, if the game goes on and whoever's impacting is impacting, you got to maybe chuck George on him.
Yeah, I think that would probably be the George Hewitt matchup because he's had that that matchup the whole year. I think that could be the matchup. But even Jack Steele, but I don't think Steele has really impacted the game as much as McRae has. But definitely, let's now head on to our last line for the opposition watch, and it is the forward line. There's a guy in there who's very close, if not leading the Coleman in Jack Higgins. I don't think he is now because I think maybe actually I'll check.
King.
Oh yeah, King. Yeah. King's actually doing well. But your forward line opposition watch, mate. What have you got?
Yeah, well, I was going to touch on that guy. I feel like I need to go out of the mainstream. He's been huge for them.
Yes.
Even in their losses, he kicks 2-3 goals, 3-4 goals. We're going to put some time into him. But, okay. So this is Fremantle's error on the weekend. Letting Cooper Sharman take the piss, right? He had a ripper game on the weekend. I'm not taking that away from him. But if we're going to win this game, those guys cannot impact the game as much as he did on the weekend. We've got to shut him down. And if Dougal Howard doesn't play, Caminiti will go in defence, like you said. Who's going to be the real main guy? Roll Marshall rolls down there sometimes when he's resting. But Cooper Sharman's probably the guy who's going to be the focus. And that's going to be interesting to see how we do all that. Like, do you rush Silvani back in with the forwards they've got? That's the thing. Like, if he's not 100% right, I probably don't want him to play, but I think he's got to. So, yeah, Sharman for me. I'm not sure the matchup. We've got a few guys who could probably roll on him, to be honest. It's more the Wiedering matchup. I'm not entirely sure who he's going to take. They might. I'd imagine if Dougal Howard misses, they'll put Caminiti back and they'll bring that Isaac Keeler from the two. That seems to be what they've been doing. So he's probably one of those. Well, he's a key forward. So I'm not gonna jinx myself and say they're not gonna kick goals, but let's just shut those guys down. Let's keep them not to. Do not let Sharman kick 4. Do not. Please do not. I don't want to be watching that at the MCG on a Friday night.
Even if you don't play a Silvani and just have Haynes, McGovern, and Wiedering, probably put Wiedering on even like an Owens and shut him out because he's a threat down there, and then probably put a Haynes to a Sharman, and then if Caminiti's still down there, probably if Caminiti is forward, probably then put Wiedering there, and then Sharman on Haynes, and then maybe have Owens on McGovern. But I think Owens is a big threat down there. But my forward line opposition watch, I know that you don't like going mainstream, but I'm going Hollywood baby, and I'm going Jack Higgins. I think he is such a threat. It's because of our history with small forwards dominating against us. It isn't great. Ben Keys last week. I think Jack Higgins is this week with the the big threat. So I'm definitely going Jack Higgins this week as the opposition watch for the forward line, Daffy
Who
boy.
who
Mate,
matches up on him? Who matches up on him? Who's your eye? If you had to pick one bloke, who's your
if
ideal?
if Cowan's playing, I'd put
Yeah,
Cowan on him.
yeah,
But if he isn't playing,
yeah.
I
No, it's
think
tough. You could almost like,
Ollie.
yeah, you could put Ollie, but I also think um they're not that tall, so I could see a
Haynes.
Haynes going on him just because he's probably behind Wiedering being our best defensive defender.
Yeah. I feel like definitely if Caminiti goes
Yeah,
back,
yeah,
I feel like that would definitely be.
yeah.
Sorry, if Caminiti stays forward, I feel like that would definitely be the matchup. But I just don't know
Mm.
what really could happen. But yeah, it definitely is an interesting one. Sorry, if Caminiti goes back, I don't even know what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
Caminiti goes back and then Sharman and Owens are the key forwards,
Yeah,
but then that means that Keelan could be playing. It's a very, very
yeah,
tough
yeah.
one. But we'll find out more when the teams come out, Duffer Boy. But let's now head on to the match predictions, mate. It is a very shit time because we were so excited last week doing these predictions, and now we're coming off a 60-point loss to the Crows, mate.
Fucking
So,
hell.
for the people who don't know what this is, we go through bag of the game, point of difference, and winner plus margin. Daffy boy. So I'll throw straight to you. BOG, bag of the game. POD, W plus M, winner plus margin. What have you got?
I love the acronyms there, Patto. But yeah, my best on this weekend will be Tom DeConing. I feel like
Ooh.
it's written in the stars. Saints, and I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like if he kicks a goal, I'm intrigued to see what he does. If he grabs the jumper, he's staying. That would be and also even if he is leaving, he'd almost be like, "Well, I'm taking your spot, Rowan Marshall. I'm taking your fucking spot." And I hope that's not the case. But it'll be a bit of a good battle, and Marshall will be going, "Well, no, I'm the number one guy here. You're not coming here." Like people don't think that shit happens. It does. There's
100%.
always, and especially ruck battles, you're playing against the same guy. It's not like you're switching and Haynes might play on whoever, someone. That's the matchup, the whole game. So yeah, TDK for me. Point of difference, Jack Silvani. I'm starting to get opposition supporter mates about talk to me about Jack Silvani.
Mm,
Same guys who were telling me he's getting a game because of his father's name.
literally.
The whole switch has been, of course, he's always been that cult hero for us, but I think now he's actually playing footy that should be commended
Yes.
publicly.
100%.
So yeah, he'll be the point of difference. And
Oh boy.
I think it's a. I'm just laughing at your reaction. Winner plus margin. I think this is the last chance I'm giving him. And I know, last week was shit, but it'd just be the most Carlton thing ever
Oh my god, I
to
know.
win this game. And I think let's be real, our expectations should be every week should be win games.
100%.
And I don't want to lower those expectations, but they will be lowered if we lose this game. So it's going to be a nail biting win. It's going to be a close one. It's going to be one of those ones where we just don't put them away. Like we play well, don't put them away. Whatever players they have up forward, kick bullshit goals out of their ass. Carlton are going to win by a point.
Oh my god.
Yep. It's got that smell about it. I don't think we've had a really like a I was about to,
Obviously last year.
yeah. I think I've completely blocked that out of my memory, Fatto. As soon as I was halfway through it, Jack Higgins snapping the ball just came in the middle of my brain. So yeah, we have had a close one, haven't we? Yeah, I think we get him back. So I think we win close one. We've got to win this game. We're at the G. We're not at their little
Yeah, I
safe
know.
spot at Marvel. I know it's a big game for them and a great cause with the Spuds game, and I know they'll want to
Yes.
up for
Yep.
that. But we're not at their little safe little stadium where they, sit in their little seats that they love. They love it, and they little, they defend the ground because they can't defend the ground like the way they did at the MCG. That's where we've got to capitalise. That's
Mm.
where we've got to capitalise, and I don't trust them to win this game, but fuck me, we are good enough to win this game at our best. At our worst, I'm not going to say anything.
Yep, I completely agree. about the jacking is so funny.
Oh,
All
I
right,
literally just. Well, I completely forgot about it. That's how bad it was.
but that's good though. That's good that it's gone completely out of your mind. The
Yeah.
other reason why he's my opposition watch is because he fucking won them the game last year. But
Yeah.
we might even need Andrew Walker to come out and
Yeah.
take a game saving mark and kick there. The match winner back in 2011. God, that was one of my favorite moments when he kicked that because my family obviously is in Kilda as well. So it's a bit of a Patto rivalry heading into this week, mate. But yeah, fucking hate the Saints, seriously.
Yeah,
But,
I just don't like them.
they're just
They're
so
in my
bad.
top list, top 5, I reckon.
Yeah. It's more the fans though, with like the no,
Yeah.
and I'm like, why not, mate? You beat Essendon. Why
And then
not,
they
mate?
beat, and then they beat you, and their first point of call, Pato, rub it in.
Oh yeah, it's like Collingwood.
Like you're a mid-table team every year, mate.
Yeah.
Mid-ladder team. Just enjoy the fight. Like the last game last year, this guy there was a bloke walking out of the stadium and he's giving it to us. You're not playing finals either,
Yeah,
and we still
literally.
ended up making it.
Literally.
So, like if it's their grand final, I
Mm.
feel like they always they hate us as well. I reckon
Yeah.
there's always a bad feeling in the crowd. It's up there, and I'm not saying it's up there with Collingwood, but there's always a bit of a hatred heading into this game. You just do not want to lose this game. It's a little bit of a rivalry. It's a kind of underrated rivalry.
It's kind of lifted the past few years, I think. But yeah, I'll very quickly go through my predictions. So bag of the game, I'm gonna go with Elijah Hollands.
Yep.
He obviously was the highest rated player, according to Champion Data, against the Cats. So he's returning to, dare I say it, his home ground, mate, the MCG. So he's ready to dominate again. So hopefully he plays a good game. Point of difference, I'm gonna go Lockie Fogarty.
Yep.
He needs to show something tremendously. He was really good against the Cats.
Yeah, yep.
Very, very poor last week, as a lot of people were, a lot of players were. So he needs to find something this week. So he needs to find that consistency. So hopefully his intent is back. Winner plus margin. I'm gonna go with the Saints.
Yep. Yep.
I'm not tipping us. Seriously, fuck them.
Yeah.
It's more like go out there and show me that you can actually fucking win. But then we'll probably lose to the Swans a week after. So I'm so unsure. So I don't think I'm going to tip us again until there is consistent football. And I thought that consistent football was back last week. So obviously it's gone again. So I'm going to go Saints by 25. It's a bit of a outlandish margin, but it pains me saying that because I don't like the Saints at all. The past few years especially, they've just really annoyed me because I mean, like my family go for them, so it's like I've got that kind of in my heart, but it's just something. It's just the supporters, man. It's just something about them, and maybe whether it's soccer as well, with how he's kind of acted. Paddy Dow going to the Saints, Jack Carroll as well. Who knows? They might even bring out, and then even like a Silvani as well, coming out, kind of shit talking the club to an extent. I don't know. I just don't know that that's
Ross
the way
Lyon,
to really go about
Ross
it. Sorry.
Ross Lyon.
Ross Lyon as well.
A few weeks ago.
Yeah. There's a bit of theatre actually, and of course it actually comes on Friday night. So it obviously is a bit of theatre, and we know what happens on a Friday night. There's a lot of things that can happen. Hopefully it is hopefully it's not a great game for the Saints and we can get the job done. But let's just hope that we can get the 4 points and move on to the Swans next week. But Daffy Boy, before we wrap up the episode, is there anything else you would like to touch on?
No, I think we've been a pretty good episode covering kind of obviously we covered the Adelaide game a little bit and let's just I don't blame people if they don't show up. It's got to that point, I think, hasn't it?
100%.
Like people, going, oh, why people fucking leaving games early or whatever. I know, like I'm all for being loyal and stuff like that, but come on now, it's almost getting a breaking point. This team should be much better than they are, and they have to win this weekend. They have to. If we're 3-6, and then Swans away, oh Jesus, we're going to need a 2023 run to save our season again.
Are you going?
This Friday, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
To work or
No,
actually?
I'll be
Oh, cool.
I'll be there, mate. I'll be
That's good.
there in full voice.
Yeah, I'm working. So,
Yeah.
but I know that round, I've actually gotten round 11, round 13, and round 15 off.
Yep.
So I'll make sure that those 3 games I've locked in. But, yep, well said. Well, we're wrapped up, Daffy boy. And yeah, it's a crap time at the moment for a current supporter because it's the uncertainty of it's just the unpredictability, uncertainty of where we kind of are, and we don't want to be here at the moment. But we just want to try and see some consistency and hopefully make something out of this 2025 season. But to every single blue bagger out there, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel if you do have any thoughts with our episodes or about Carlton. We do try and respond to as many comments as possible. But also, if you need someone to talk to, Daff and I are very much available via our socials. So make sure to send us a message. But also on our podcast platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, for the audio version, please listen to that. And as we said, also our socials, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or I always said TikTok, TikTok, and there's a few others out there, Daffy boy. But to you, Daffy boy,
Come on.
just get a fucking
Come
done,
on.
please. That's all I ask. And to every single blue bagger out there,
Yeah.
up the baggers.